Wow, wow, yeah! I gotta say, this new song, I wanted to not like it, but I fucking like it. Let me get the comments here, guys. I wanna sound quit down. Oh, sound quit down. A sailor going down. The way that fucking Buttrock guys enunciate is just like another. I feel like I should be stripping for singles right now. I was gonna pretend to lick the pole, but this is going to be a fun one, and I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. If you're one of those people that's staying away from this stream because you think it might be lame, you're lame. I was going to call you something else, but I don't want to get canceled anytime today. I got to be careful. This Chad Kroger's got some chops, brother. All right, solo. Hold on. Let's judge his solo. Hold on. From now on, when we hear solos come up, we are going to do a solo ranking as a group. We're going to rank the solo. We're starting today. For every time a solo comes on, like a good solo, we're going to rank the solo. Not every solo, but once in a while, we're going to do solo break, and I need you guys to rank the solo. Let's rank the solo for Chad Kroger, shall we? By the way, Brymere is going to be talking to us a lot with his ball today. You guys are just going to have to deal with it. He is not in heat. He is an 11-year-old cat with no nuts, and he just likes to walk around the house and yell at the top of his lungs because he's deaf. We found out that Brymere is actually going deaf due to the thing he had going on with his glands. There was something going on with his hearing. So what did he start doing? Meowing louder to get the same effect. So you guys are going to hear him today. Just rest assured we take care of our cats here, okay? He's not in pain. He's going to be okay. He just loves telling people that he loves to play with the ball. All right, solo ranking for Chad Kroger. Tone included. I hear some chorus. Okay. I got time for that. I like this song. If you don't like Nickelback, that's okay. I that's fine. I wouldn't say okay, I'm going to be honest. I am a fan. I'm not a big fan. I was a big fan of the stuff they did in the beginning, and then they started getting way too poppy, and then all of a sudden, holy smokes. All right, never mind. I got to retrain my thought here. All right, okay, buddy, what's going on? Here he comes, guys. He's coming in. All right, what we got? Xander Bananas. Do we have other folks in the chat today? Are we letting Xander talk on his own? Come on, folks. Let's bring it up a notch. It's Friday. Let's have fun tonight. What I was going to get at there is you might not like Nickelback, and that's fine. You don't have to. But we're talking about guitar tone. And you don't have to like a band to appreciate their guitar tone or their drum tone or their bass tone or their singer's voice or whatever, or their songwriting. Like, for example, let's talk about one thing I like about Ghost, for example. Ghost, I love some of the small things he does as a songwriter. I really enjoy it. So that's something that I would say is a positive, wouldn't you? So we're going to be listening to the Buttrock classics today. What do I want to listen to? Like, I just don't want to end up with any ballads here. No ballads. Is there like a Spotify playlist that's like no ballads allowed? Okay. There's one song here. Like, whether you're a Nickelback fan or not, check this one riff out here. Check this, the start of this song right here. Now you listen to their tone in the beginning, and their tone sounds a lot more like 3 Days Grace. Not the beginning. 2005 was a little ways into their career. The song starts to suck after that, but the start of it's pretty sweet. Nickelback, I would say, has a lot of riffs I like. Full songs, I don't know. And some of obviously they've got some really lame stuff too. And they started to get a little too country there. Chad Kroger was starting to get a little too comfortable doing a little bit too close to new country. I got nothing wrong with country, old country, proper played country. Not a fan of the new stuff, and they were getting a little too close. All right, they're our national treasure up here. And so, I mean, I've got big respect for a band because I literally watched this band play in front of 120 people. They were opening for a band called Big Wreck. The weather was very poor. and there was only about 100 and actually, no, it was probably more like 250, 200 something, under 300 people in the building. And it's really interesting to me. It's awesome. I love seeing a band that pulls themselves up from the bootstraps. Okay. These guys made it from nothing and made it to where they're huge. So I got respect for any band. I don't care if I like your music or not. Any artist out there that's literally gone from D-level venues, E-level venues to headlining fucking stadiums and arenas. Good for you. Good for you. Now, when you talk about a band like Theory of a Dead Man, that's a bit of a different scenario because that's a kind of a sort of a manufactured band, whereas the singer from Theory of a Dead Man was found on his own by, I don't know if it was Chad Kroeger or somebody from a label, or somebody found him on his own. Good looking guy, playing some good songs. He sings well enough. But then they went and hired him a band, as far as I understand it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's incorrect. But as far as, again, that band started, that band was more started touring. They went on like kind of some decent sized tours pretty much right away. There was no real D and E level venues for those guys. No eating cans of beans in the back of the van. You know what I mean? Opening it with a steak knife. And if you're out there and you've toured in a van and you've had to open a can of beans with a steak knife because you forgot to bring a can opener and eaten those can of beans or that can of Alpha-Getty cold, metal shavings and all, you're out there, and if you've done that, you have my approval, because I myself have toured in scenarios like that. So, or if you've eaten nothing, but if you've been on the ramen near scurvy diet for a couple of months while on tour, again, I salute you. Now, in the comments, we're going to start by asking you, who's your guilty pleasure? If you're a guitarist, every guitarist, I don't care which guitarist you are, the majority of guitarists have at least a guilty pleasure butt rock, jock rock, hard alternative rock band that they kind of like, low key guilty pleasure. Who's yours? Tell me in the comments. For me, it's not really a band. It's not. I think there's a lot of bands I enjoy in this style. I really do. I think there are a number of bands I do enjoy in this style. But then there's like those serious, I call them serious octane radio bands, where it's like they're 3-word band names. This next on Serious Octane, Blister the Butterfly. You know, like, and they're about to play a song that sounds like it's just a cookie cutter version of something else, and you're never going to remember it, and you'll never remember it ever. And the picture of the band looks like just the other band. There's the guy with the mohawk. There's a guy with long hair. There's a drummer that's got a shaved head and like a tattoo on his neck. You know, there's that formula-looking bands. Those bands, not that they're bad. It's just that they're forgettable. Just like as we talked to the other stream, this is brand new 150, by the way. The last 150 got deleted because there was 2 parts and it's fucking irritating. It's brand new. We talked in that one about tons of genres where there are good bands that define the genre and this style of music, and then there are the hanger-oners that are not necessarily great, but they're not, they're not horrible either, but they're just very unmemorable. They're not bad, they're just not memorable. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to anyone? This is Nickelback. This is Nickelback? I don't want to listen to How You Remind Me. Let's listen to we might have to switch a couple songs. So we're focusing today on the guitar tones of Nickelback, the production quality. And you can hear one thing that's been very consistent across their entire career is the fact that this band has used EMG. They started as like a Metallica and hard rock, lighter. We're not going to call Metallica light metal, but as far as maybe someone these days call Metallica dad metal. My point is, they started out as a band that played a lot of Metallica covers, and they played covers by Judas Priest, and they played covers by Creed, and they played covers by all sorts of different bands, and they blended it up, and eventually they made it somewhere that's cool. So Chad Kroeger was actually you'd think that he's definitely the James Hetfield guy, but apparently he was the Kirk Hammett guy, and the other guitarist, Ryan Shuck, is more of the James Hetfield guy. And he's actually he's the rhythm guitar player anyway. Chad Kroeger plays the leads. So it's kind of interesting. you'd look at Chad Kroeger, especially in his early days, and you're like, that guy's definitely a huge James Hetfield fan, but apparently he's the Kirk guy. So, all right, let's see what we got here. Oh, how did I know that Victor was going to show up for this one? 4 people, and I knew this was going to be a poorly attended stream, but I don't care because we're going to have fun with it, and I knew this was going to be fun. If you're brave enough to jump in today, you're going to have fun. We're going to talk about some solid guitar tones from solid rock bands, and that is maybe misleading by the title being all Nickelback, but we're going to be actually talking about multiple hard rock bands, and I'm going to let you in on a little secret. The majority of hard rock these days focuses around one amplifier, the Mesa Boogie Dual and, well, we'll say dual and triple rectifiers. Those are 2 amps that are just everywhere in rock music. A lot of people would be ignorant and say that it would be ignorant to say that the triple and dual rec are metal amps. I would consider them to be more rock amps than metal amps because they're just bigger, more raw, and I find that depends on the type of metal we're talking, but sometimes I find rectifiers a little bit too big, bold, and beefy for, especially for, more technical styles of metal. But for stuff like this, it's not. This is perfect stuff for a rectifier. That's the thing. When you're playing stuff like hard rock, you're going to be finding it's the guitar style that is maybe almost engineered for a rectifier. The type of strumming, the type of things that you're doing. We're going to be playing in C today, and you're probably wondering, why am I playing a Jackson if we're doing, why am I playing kind of a metal guitar if we're doing Nickelback? And that reason for that is because this is a dual EMG equipped guitar, just like they use. And I'm pretty sure that both Chad Kroeger uses, I don't know what he uses anymore. We're going to find out. It used to be the 8185 set. Both the guys used to use 8185s. Bass player uses EMG as well. Always have. And these guys have good tone. If you can go ahead and say that, I fucking hate Nickelback, go ahead. I don't care if you don't like Nickelback. But if you're a guitar player and you're going to go out and say, fuck Nickelback's tone, it sucks, you're full of shit and nobody believes you. That's it. Oh, no, I don't know if I can do... Nope. We're going to be doing the odd skip. And why am I going to be doing the odd skip? Well, this is another one we're going to skip. I get the feeling we're going to be doing more skipping on this playlist than anything if it's just going to be showing us the hits. I don't know. Where's the best Nickelback playlist? I need to know. What did they do this song for? This is where they got lame. This is not good. But when Nickelback is trying to play aggressively hard rock, they do it well. Have you guys ever heard the cover of Nickelback doing Sad But True? Well, you haven't? Well, we're going to listen to it right now. Nickelback. Whoa. You guys, and tell me this sounds bad, and I will agree with you. If everybody says this sounds bad, then you know what? Then I'll agree with you. I'm the one in the wrong. Okay, we're going to go with this one. Watch your ears. Any Metallica fans in the house? Tell me this sounds bad. We should jam a little. Look at that top ramen hair. Tell me this sounds bad, and I'll agree with you. Whoa, you messed that part up. Tell me I'm wrong. This is their old drummer, though. The new guy's way better. Way better. The old guy's solid, though. Real solid. And the vocals even sound good. I mean, sounds pretty good. Hey! Anyhow, just showing that these guys, whether you like it or not, these guys are more metal than you think. And they do metal, they're metal heads, but then they went and did the wimpy stuff. Anyways, we're going to be skipping some songs today because I live in a place called Canada, which is where Nickelback is from. And in Canada, we have this thing called a CanCon. And CanCon is essentially a law here in this country that radio stations and essentially the majority of media has to be 50% Canadian content in some way, shape, and form. There's some ways around it. The band Big Wreck is actually a Canadian band with an American singer. They get away with it. There's a percentage of members in the band that have to be Canadian. Same thing with movies. It's going to be shot in Canada or involve a certain amount of Canadian actors. It's a really interesting thing. Now, a lot of Canadian radio stations don't even really understand that Nickelback has more than a few songs. So there are certain songs that get played into the dirt here in our country. And so to the where if I hear even one note of them, I'm just like, yeah. Because I used to work on a lot of job sites prior to working in schools. And on those job sites, they have radios. And what do those radios play? Rock music. And what do the rock music stations in Canada play? Nickelback. And only a few of the songs, though. They never play the gooders. And when you can even go and request them, and they're like, nah, what about these ones instead? Which is lame. So we're going to be focused on, we're going to try to focus on the heavier side of Nickelback if we can today, and the other bands that are kind of heavier. 3 Days Grace, another fairly heavy Buttrock band. They have some heavier stuff. Anyhow, they have their old singer back, which is kind of interesting. They're a bit of a different kind of guitar tone altogether. I almost feel like in their tone, there's an octaver somewhere, because if you've ever heard, if you haven't heard of 3 Days Grace, this is another tone we'll be after today. I do like this song. I'm not going to lie to you. Something in Your Mouth is a fun song. All right. So there's one song where it's really evident. No. Where is it? Yeah, this one. You can tell that's rectifier. It's almost like there's an octaver there, though. Or is the bass just playing so seamless? That sounds like an octaver to me. That's almost like CKY tone right there. We're going to go look, though. Does anybody know? We're going to go look on a Quipboard. How do we dissect tones, guys, in Tone Talk? We go to a Quipboard. And we're going to go to a Quipboard and find some ways to dissect some of these tones. And I'm guaranteeing we're going to see a lot of this diamond-plated friend up here. We also have the next best rectifier in the amp sim world, armed and ready to go here in Amp Box. And this is not it. We're going to change the preamp to the Rectifier. This right here and this right here, these two together are the two best rectifiers on the plug-in market, hands down. And if you can disagree with me if you'd like, and I'm just going to disagree with you right back. Yeah, the one in tonality, Josh Middleton, is also pretty good. Nimbrini Audio's got the Cali Dual, which is okay. And it's pretty decent. I mean, you're not going to get ripped off with the Cali Dual, in my opinion. But we're looking at the two best, very best at their job. And if I was to reach for something from, say, Aurora DSP for Buttrock, I might reach for the Rhino here. Rhino's sort of a jack of all trades, Swiss Army knife, Swiss Army hammer, if you will. This thing might look like a metal plugin, but it's actually good at a lot of different things. So there's this, or I would go with maybe the new Hector V2 does some really mean rock tones as well. I am sweating my ass off today, by the way. Sweating my ass off. I usually avoid streams on super sweaty days because it's really uncomfortable to be sweaty and have these lights on me at the same time. But we're here. We're doing her. We're going to have fun. And we're going to have some meaty, beefy guitar tones at some point. If there's an amp sim out there that you'd like me to check out and use during this stream that might fit, and you think it might be able to do even better butt rock tones, let me know. I might be able to throw that out there. No, Victor is an OG. Victor has been around for a day or two. Ronnie Webster, what's up, dude? How are you? Tomas, I'm here for a bit before you fall asleep. Nice. Thank you for being here. Maximo Fernando, nice to see you. Let me just read. I'm just reading up here, guys. Man, I am sweating right now. I also kind of irritated. I was in a really good mood. I was about to stream. And I saw my phone. There was a call coming in, and I answered it. And it was somebody I really did not want to talk to. And it just got my mood like, man, that was like, it just buzz killed my mood a bit. That's not fun. You like Amp Hub's Recto? That's a good one. Man, we're going to listen to a lot of Buttrock today. Distant Nail Bomb? Yes. I would say that would be all right, yeah. Yeah, man. THU's definitely got a ton of Buttrock. Vadim's Recto. Vadim's Recto it's a good one, but it's not as good as the Rev F. It is good though. As far as is it free? Because I think it's free. Is it free? As far as free Buttrock, I'm gonna show you my very favorite that exists right now, and it is Vadim's. It's the Jambi. This would be the best free rock amp I can even think of. Also, I also have the Emissary loaded up, which I know can do some sizzling hard rock tones as well. We're just gonna get some fun tones. We're just getting started here today. I don't know how long I'm gonna be on, even though time to be on. We'll try to be on for a bit. All right. Whoa, what's happening? Why do I hear all that noise? Why do I hear that intense noise right now? I have Jambi. What else do I have going right now? Just Jambi. Very interesting. Why do I have so much noise happening right now? Very interesting. Is it going to do that with all of them? Not all of them. Okay. Either way. We're going to start with the Rev F today. And we've got, again, we're armed with EMGs, which is what I think pickups are just so. Pickups are kind of, it really depends. Like pickups, yeah, there are a lot of EMGs being used. We're going to look at Equip Board. And we're going to go to Nickelback real quick, and I'll show you guys. This is the way to do tone chasing. If you're tone chasing your favorite artists, there are a lot of variables there, guys. We have to talk about a lot of variables when you're chasing your favorite artist's tone. There's a ton of different variables and a ton of different ways to kind of not screw it up, but like, I wouldn't say you're not going to screw it up, but like if you're really trying to nail it, you really have to find out exactly what they were using on, what records they were using it on. It's best to look at live videos and find out what they're using live. Then you have to make sure they're using their own gear, not rented stuff. So if it's a festival, sometimes you'll see a band using rented gear. Gibson Explorer 7-string? Really? He uses for what? What does he use this for? Burn it to the ground. Really? I didn't know he has a 7-string Explorer. That's pretty cool, armed with EMGs. I didn't know this existed. Did you guys know this even existed? I did not. Anyways, we're listening to 3 Days Grace. Another band that has some pretty good tone would be Hinder. I don't really like... Let's listen to Burn It to the Ground again, because that's 7-string? Hold on. It says he's using it for this song. I'm very curious now. Yeah, that would be B. No. That's not B. That's C. That's... Yeah, that is B. I had no idea. All these years I've heard that song a bunch of times. I actually didn't really know that that song was in B. Interesting. So, I would consider cold Buttrock. Yeah, that's all right. I'll take that. I would say cold falls like between Buttrock and like almost like. Do they not fall a little bit? If it's the cold that I'm thinking of, maybe I'm wrong. Do they not fall a little bit under industrial as well? Like just lightly under industrial? They have electronic components there, right? Itchy, itchy, itchy. Fall right in the crack. I haven't really heard. I don't remember what cold sounds like. I know one. There's one cold song I know I listened to a bunch of times at one point. And it would take me a second to find it and figure out which one it was. Let's embrace the noise, dude. Why are we gonna embrace the noise? Nobody wants to listen to me make noise. I'm barely a guitar player as it is, folks. You got a car today. You're stoked about. I would be stoked about getting a car too. All right, let's see this. So for a long time, he used PRS guitars. Fender Super 60. Didn't somebody do this? Didn't somebody do a plugin of this? I could have sworn somebody was going to do this. This thing was... I remember seeing one of these a long, long time ago. They had one at a local pawn shop, and it was there for a long period of time. I remember seeing it. I never remember using it. I never once plugged it in, but I remember it being there. And I remember thinking, wow, this amp has a fan right in the front of the amp. That's interesting. All right. So, wow. Gibbs... wow, he has his own Les Paul. Holy cow, that thing's nice. You can't say that's not a nice guitar. Wait. Is it not gonna like... You don't give me a bigger version? That's pretty cool though. That's a nice Les Paul I can't afford. $3,500 is not that bad a price for that though. If you're a guy that can spend that much. All right, so we're seeing... What do we see here? We see a graphic EQ. Yup. I'm assuming he's using that to scoop a little bit. Maybe. Triple rec. Are there any plugins based on the triple rec? It's mostly just dual recs. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. And also, off the top of my head, I can't even really think. What are the fundamental differences between the triple rec and the dual rec? EMG 81. Decimator, noise, chorus, all very standard stuff that I all expected. Mesa Boogie Dual Rectifier rack mount. Okay. So, oh nope. No, definitely not doing that either. Oh, come on, man. Why are we doing this to each other? Do they have a live album? Can we do a live album, maybe? I don't know. Anyways, so that's about it. I'm assuming the other guitar player's rig is going to be identical. If you're just getting here, we're talking about Buttrock today. And if you don't like... This is a cover. They covered Dirty Laundry? Interesting. Nice. I actually like that song. You ever do that? You ever just realize a cover of one of your, like, a song you really enjoy is out there? It's been out there forever, and it's a band that you know a band that you've heard of and you know exists, yet you just never heard the cover. That's happened to be a bunch of times in the last year where just like bands that, even in some cases, bands I really, really like have done Sonata Arctica did a cover of Run to You by Bryan Adams, which is a song I really enjoy. Really, really, it's a song from my childhood. Very, very fond memories, core memories with that song. And I love Sonata Arctica. Well, I mean, I love what they used to be. But then all of a sudden I found that this cover that they did several years ago now, I'm like, wow, this exists? How did this get by me? Anyways, this is a fun song. I would have thought that Canadian radio would have played the shit out of this. But here we are. All right. Didn't Van Diem work on Ugertone? Yes, he did. Vadim builds his plugins in a way that is it's tough to use in Mac. I think there's a way, I don't know. I don't know though. So you'd have to ask somebody that knows the things. Amplitude has triples. Brainworks. I don't think Brainworks has a triple. There's just the dual. ML Sound Lab. ML Sound Lab is good new metal amp. Which one? Amplitude 5 has one. ML Sound Lab has a triple rack. Okay. And I think there's a few sources that used to have. All right, let's get some tones fired up here. So generally these guys are, if one thing if you didn't notice there, Chad Kroeger doesn't use a boost out front, although I'm assuming that he uses this. Is that actually his pedal board? At what point was this his pedal board? So if we look at this pedal, can I make that larger? If you guys can see that in the screen, there's actually not anything really aggressive happening over here on this EQ pedal. I thought maybe he was using it for a scoop, but he's just using it to kind of maybe dodge up a bit of mids. I don't see any. There is a tube screamer on there. Okay, so they finally adopted the tube screamer, and you can kind of hear when that happened in their material. When you listen to Nickelback's older stuff, it's a bit more raw and fatter and round and a bit more round around the edges. And then you can hear on a lot of the new stuff that definitely sounds a bit more like it's boosted, like that San Quentin song that we opened the stream with. As far as I remember listening to this thinking that guitar tone's really good. Let's hear this tone again here. Yeah, that's definitely boosted. You can hear that real high bite. Right there. You can hear on that jad. Maybe they go 2 tracks. Maybe they're quad tracking 2 tracks without and 2 tracks with. Is there something you're staring at, sir? Anyways, sorry guys. There's this random dude staring in my window. Oh, there's a light in there. I'm gonna look. Anyways. So that's what I'm kind of assuming on some of this newer stuff, it kind of sounds like maybe they went 2 tracks boosted, 2 tracks not boosted, to make sure it stayed really, really fat. That's probably what kind of sounds like what's happening, because at times I'm like, oh, that definitely sounds boosted, or maybe it doesn't. Whereas the old stuff, you could tell they were going direct from amp, and maybe there was an EQ in there to help poke things around, but ultimately there wasn't a lot. All right, we're going to go with like kind of a metal tone to get started. Let's see where we're at. Ah, that's why the input level was way too high. That's why we have all this noise. That's sounding better. All right. San Quentin, I wanna. They make fun. The song reminds me so much of the sound of Load. Yeah, but you know that you have like that had to be that was the album that like sparked this band. You can just listen to this album and you hear you listen to Nickelback and their heavier stuff and you just hear Load all over it. There's certain things you can just hear, and you can hear Creed, you can hear bits of Creed, you can hear bits of this and bits of that, bits of Load. But you can definitely hear that this band was influenced by metal bands initially, or at least very heavy rock bands. 9 people in here. Let's get the chit chat happening. Ronnie Webster, what's going on? Do you think you'd ever have a stream where we could share our music and tell you what Sims we're using? You can just post the. Tell you what, I generally don't like when we don't want to just start getting link hammered. So every once in a while, if someone's working on something, don't link just, hey, my project is this and I'm on this platform. And that way, I mean, I'm pretty sure anybody that's in here that's looking to go listen to something, they're going to go listen to it. And they're going to tell you what you think. And then let us know what you think. I will definitely listen to some people's music, but it's tough to also listen to do mix crits like live real time with the person that you're mix critting for, because it's tough, because it's sort of like that vibe where like someone cooks something for you and then they like sit right next to you like, how do you enjoy it? Do you like it? Is it good? Is it tasty? You know, like it's really weird. So I definitely wouldn't want to do like live mix crits, because I wouldn't want anybody to get mad at me, because I'm really, really honest and I don't know how to be anything but really honest. And sometimes really honest comes out as really like arrogant, and my mixes are not that good. So I really, even me doing mix crits is tough for people. I can definitely help though. So if you've got stuff and you want to show it off, and you just want, all you want to do is show it off and say, hey guys, I've been using this sim lately, then yeah, be like, my project name is this and this is the platform I'm on. Check me out, guys. I don't mind if people do that at all. When it comes to actual links, it just bounces links. Is it tasty? How's everything tasting? All right, we're going to dial some mids even further back. So yeah, we're just hanging out today, having a good time. We're going to play around some tones, but we were talking yesterday about how much of a part, like, did Mesa Boogie not just discontinue the dual rec? Is that what I read? Is that true? They actually discontinued the dual rec? Where do you get off? That amp built your fucking company. You know what I mean? Like, we're on to bigger and greater things. But did they actually discontinue the rectifier series? Or did I hear wrong? Am I completely misinformed? San Quentin! The one thing I will give Nickelback credit for, as I've been giving them credit for other things, I will give them credit. They're not really a Yarling band either. They're not a band that does the you know, they're not like Creed, where it's like, you can't, like, man, do you sing with marbles in your mouth? What is happening right now? And they managed to rhyme everything with say and day, even if it's like a C or me, it's say and me. You know, like everything is A, and it's like C and may never, those don't rhyme. Those actually don't rhyme, but I make them rhyme. Say me. You know, like it just, that's one thing I will give Nickelback credit for, is they're not a Yarling band. The only band the only Yarling band I'm ever going to be okay with is Alice in Chains. Because Lane Staley was the best yarler that ever yarled. But that was his style. And then it was like the watered down versions of him that followed. Even Eddie Vedder is this is going to be a controversial statement, because chronologically it might not make sense at all. But even when I listen to Eddie Vedder, I listen to Eddie Vedder in comparison to Lane Staley. And Eddie Vedder is just like a watered down version of Lane Staley as well. I think one of the greatest vocalists in the history of music. And that dude could yarl. But it wasn't a bad yarling. You know what I mean? There are not a lot of bands that could get away with it. Anyways, how the fuck's everybody doing? I'm not listening to this again. No, we're not listening to more of this. 90s metal classics. We could listen to some of that too. Put on some of that in the background. It's a little Korn. I'm going to get absolutely starched by copyright things after this stream. Every one of these songs can be like copyright. The algorithm heard 7 seconds of our song. Demonetized. Correct. So they did. So this is insane to me. Why would you discontinue an amp that was literally your flagship for 20 plus years? You look at all the bands worldwide that are not only that made that amp famous by being versatile. You know what I mean? Nickelback, one band that made it, helped make the rectifier famous. You know? And then you look at just all the bands, the plethora of different genres, completely different bands and different guitarists that have made that amp so popular. and then somehow it was discontinued. I don't understand how you discontinue. It's like McDonald's discontinuing the Big Mac. People would lose their fucking minds in the United States of America if you imagine that happened. Oh, I want to see it. I want to see it so bad. I want to get, then, you know, in a couple years, people will be wearing t-shirts. I survived the Big Mac riots of 2027. Telling their kids stories of when we had to like hide from the secret police because we were smuggling Big Macs. All right. Be gentle. I just learned that 5 seconds ago. And then they got, that was weird. They got a new singer, and then the old singer came back, but the new singer just stuck around. That's interesting to me when shit like that happens. Because you know that shit's not comfortable, man. Even though they say it's cool, you know it's not cool. It's like when Bruce Dickinson rejoined Iron Maiden and brought Adrian back with him. And then Adrian was just like supposed to just play with Yannick the whole time. And then it's super awkward because they play the same solos at the same time. It's really weird to me. It's super weird. I'd have to turn, I'm going to turn this off. Oh, tone break. One of the greatest tones in the history. Also rectifier, I might add. How many years later I still get goosebumps in this part? The tone. So the rectifier was one of those amps that just literally like, how many genres is that? Is that not just genres, but like big movements? How many of those is this amp attached to? You know what I mean? Like so many amps out there that are attached. So many genres are attached to skate punk. You've got, well, Buttrock. You've got very, like, even just right down to Foo Fighters used it. You've got nu metal. Nu metal, again, the rectifier was known to be the voice of nu metal, just like it was the voice of hard rock, just like the amp is the voice of skate punk back in the day. There's so many different genres where this amp, different genres, I mean, like polar opposite tone-wise too, where this amp was just so influential. And again, we talked about it in the stream the other day that it was, for a lot of us, it was like our first gas experience too. I'm 47 years old, happy to say it. And I remember the first time I was 15 years old, I think. The first time I laid eyes on a rectifier, I was 15 and thinking, holy shit, what is that guy? What is that amp? And you can see it from the back of the room. Two guys got rectifiers, the stage lights reflecting off that diamond plate. It's like moths to a flame. If you're a guitar player and you don't know what a rectifier is, you're looking from a distance. You're seeing that amp from a distance and you're going, what is that thing? And it's like moths to a flame. Must know what it is. Wander over and start staring at it. So, you know, for people that don't know what it is, I think everyone, their first time seeing a rectifier, I think almost every guitar player might have gone through that. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Am I wrong? Did you guys go through that? Did you guys not have that moment when you guys were younger as well, start going to shows and you see that amp, the diamond plate, diamond plate with the stage light, the big can lighting. It's usually probably too close if you're going to small venues like I was. Very close can lighting. It's just reflecting off it like mad. I can't get this to States today. It's humid as fucking here today, and I can tell we are about to have a storm. Hold on, I'm gonna look out. It's been threatening all day. There's like these big, fluffy, grouchy clouds coming from a distance. But then with this big, beefy, I was going to call it big, beefy bitch, but I don't want to come across the wrong way. The lake that I live next to is very large. In fact, it's the largest freshwater lake in the entire world. I live right next to it. And it do some things to weather sometimes. Some real strange thing to weather sometimes. All right, let's try that again. I'm pretty sure they're in a drop tuning. Because then it would just be something like that. I think what are they in? They're in drop C? Holy cow. Blink-182 or literally every other band around 2000. Yeah, man, that was like we talked about it, Victor. We just had a stream and it went really well, but it was separated by a disconnect. So I hope that doesn't happen today. It'd be wonderful if it didn't. But anyways, we were talking about basically metal or heavy music in general from 1995 to 2005. It was all rectifier, buddy. It was all rectifier with a little bit of sprinkling of 5150s in there. And then I've actually found that when the 5150, when Eddie left the company, when the 6505 came out, and what the fuck? The 6505 came out and just gave... Sorry, guys. I'm just looking at some people messing around in the parking lot. The 6505 came out, and PV gave away a lot. They gave away a metric fucking ton of those amps to a lot of really, really popular bands. And so the 6505 I actually thought was maybe even bigger than the 5150 when it came to bands using it at that point in time. Maybe not so much now. It's not coveted as much. Which I think is very strange. People covet the block letter, but like, fuck that 6505 piece of shit. I don't want to talk about it. You know? Weird. What do we got? Lamb of God used rectos in the early days before switching to Marks. Oh, yeah? I grew up in Richmond and remember that Lamb of God. Oh, nice. You remember them as Burn the Priest. Sick. Nice. Lamb of God used Bandlander. They use a Badlander now? Why am I listening to Tool? For fuck's sakes. Sorry. That was an inner commentary. I just see the way I reacted after saying that out loud. I realized I was on live stream. Oh, I just exposed myself as a not Tool fan. Instantly, I've lost at least 3 subscribers. They will tell all of their friends on Reddit with sweaty neckbeards. If you're a Tool fan, I'm just kidding. Relax. Wait, do Tool fans don't have relax? That's what I forgot. Tool fans are like new Opeth fans. They just don't have chill. When you start talking about their favorite band, you better be flattering and positive only, or else like they're fucking start taking off the earrings and fucking them fighting words. Anima is a fucking great record. Opiate. I'm not gonna be one of those people that's like, I only like Tool Opiate. But I really do fucking like that. How that EP is super good. It's impossible to ignore that Undertow and how amazing and raw and just viscerally impressive Opiate and Undertow are. Beyond that, Anima, okay, I'll give it to you, but beyond that, they retreated up their own buttholes. Up the old butthole. It's a special brand of neckbeard. That's okay. You can love Tool. I do. Like I said, I love, and I've got Jambi here, which is actually based on some Tool sounds. Let's switch over to Jambi for just a few minutes. What are we going to pair Jambi with? You guys know I like pairing it with the EGA, but if you want to hear me use something other than my only favorite impulse response, let me know. This is Jambi. This is free. And this is factually one of the greatest sounding amp sims that I've ever used. And it feels great and it's fun to use. And there's absolutely zero wrong with this amp sim. It is awesome. It's Windows only. You got to supply your own pedals and your own impulse responses. But if you can't do that, guys, get outside the box. Get outside the box and have fun with it. That's absurd already. No, it's 2. Dun, 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 dun. Dun. So this is designed to be like a blend of the Plex, I know, super bass and the diesel that are used by Adam Jones, as far as I understand. As far as I've understand it. This is what this is supposed to be. Notice I'm not even using a screamer right now. It's just toy like a toiker. And you can scoop it or you can boost it up. You can do whatever you want with this. It's going to sound good. Oh my God, we got a train horn now. I don't care for Tool, honestly. They're very... Yeah, the thing is, though, guys, there's a lot of music. There is very little music on this earth that I find completely worthless. I can find a worth in everything. Whoa. We were talking about good tone. Tone break! One of the best tones ever recorded, and because we nuked the last stream, it's going to seem brand new. We're talking about a little bit of early 2000s metal, I guess. This is the amazing Dino Cazares and his original modified Marshall Metalhead. Oh my God, that sounds good. It's so good. Oh, I could listen to Replica by Fear Factory. I remember exactly where I was. Exactly what I was doing when the first time I heard that song, and it was on the Power Hour, the Power 30 on Much Music. Video came on. We got this brand new track from a band called Fear Factory. It popped on, and I lost my shit at the start of it. And you're just like, man, anybody, it's impossible not to like that intro. Yes, it does. Everything Ugertone has Mac versions. Does Ugertone still exist? What happened with that company? Didn't he like sell it to like, there's like Hertz Audio is involved or something, or another company, not Hertz Audio, but another company, a German company is involved or something? Yeah, man, 30 years for this album, and the tone is still completely relevant. Oh my God, I'm fucking warm. Oh! Welcome, 11 people. My name is Tyler. Welcome to the AmSim Show. I am here to show you guys tone, and we are talking about Buttrock, stuff like Nickelback, Theory of a Dead Man, 3 Days Grace. Let's go and look. I'm going to give you guys an example of the band names I'm talking about when I talk about Serious Octane bands. Serious Octane top songs. What are the top songs right now? Most heard songs on Octane. Weekly top 15 countdown. Most heard songs. All right. Let's talk about a bunch of band names that I will never remember. Nothing more. Oh, it's Daughtry. This is all. Holy cow, I'm fucking warm right now. These are all band names I'll actually remember. Interesting. I'm eating my own words. From Ashes to New. There's one right there. I'm never going to remember your band name from Ashes to New. Return to Dust. Nope. Not going to do it. Not going to remember your band name. And probably not going to Set It Off. That's that dude that's in the song with the Scream Queen, right? You guys ever heard that girl? Rain City. Here we go. Perfect example. Rain City Drive. I will never remember that band name. Ever. I will never remember that band name. Escape the Fate on that is a perfect example, but it's a band name that I've obviously heard of that band. So Starset. Wow, they're still... I saw this band with Lacuna Coil. Anyways, we're going back to it. A little bit of more low end, a little bit less in the mids. We're going to scoop it out a bit. So if you're like, fuck, why can't I keep... This weather is not making the average ass Jackson super pumped right now. I am literally covered in a film of sweat. This is how much so much I care about you guys. I do. I care about you guys. I want to be here, even though it's hard. I'm sweating through this. You guys see that meme of Hulk? Like it's like something about being in a porta potty during like a 45-degree day, and it's like Hulk Hogan all sweaty, going like, "I'm in here, brother." That's how I feel right now. I literally feel like I'm in a porta potty on a 40-degree day. All right, so that's jam beat. Again, so if I'm using it more for... Nice. And again, the rectifier cab is also known as one of the best. Call it, careful calling it the rectifier cab. Somebody corrected me. It's not a rectifier cabinet. Yes, I know it's not a rectifier cabinet. There's no rectifier in the cabinet. Nah. In any event, there is a cabinet known to be paired with rectifiers, known as the oversized 412. If you're happy now, that cabinet is well known to be the gold standard rock cabinet. The fucking gold standard rock cabinet right there. Gold standard hard rock, modern rock cabinet. Obviously, Marshalls play a huge part in rock as well still, and even hard rock. But when it comes to like modern hard rock, you started seeing less, so fewer and fewer Marshalls, more and more stuff like the rectifier. What other stuff are we seeing in hard rock though? I see a lot of rectifiers. Let's go and check out a couple of those other bands that we were talking about. Equipboard. I think it's in my save now. Equipboard. Let's go check out a couple of, of those other bands to see if there's... I think the one guy, the big beefy dude from 3 Days Grace actually uses I think he uses Marshall. 3 Days Grace. Neil Sanderson? No, that's the drummer. 3 Days Grace. It's Barry Stock. This is the fella here. He uses Ibanez. He uses those he uses those different models. I like those. If you've ever played one of them, I can't remember what's the model called again? The SZ series. These ones. If you've ever played one of these are really nice playing guitars. I had one of these for a little while, gave it to a friend of mine, and he kept it forever. Like, we're talking 20 plus years ago, I gave it to him because he was really hard down on his luck. I gave it to him for a song and a dance. It was like $50 in a case of beer or something. And he kept it forever. Forever. Still uses it to this day as far as I understand. Had a refret done to it as far as I understand. It's really nice to know that like I was responsible for giving somebody an instrument they liked that level. Diesel he's used now. Okay. At one point, did he use? Oh, wow. There's fuzz pedal. Ooh, Zvex. Have you ever heard of this pedal? This thing is neat. Luca was going to do this pedal. I know somebody did this pedal, but I can't remember who did it. Who did this pedal? Somebody did this. I can't for the life of me remember it off the top of my head, but I know somebody did this. I'm pretty sure it's in Helix Native. I'm 99.9% sure this is in Helix Native. But this thing is a neat little gadget. It's a super fuzzy. Okay, I'm not seeing anything else. Lots of fuzz pedals. So yeah, there's definitely a fuzz aspect in this band. I'd be interested to watch a rig rundown of his stuff. Diesel VH4 with some fuzz going through it. Also uses a JMP1. Interesting. I'm still using... Hold on. Let's see what it says here. I'm still using the Diesel VH4s and Marshall JMP1s, which are modded by Trace Davis at Voodoo Amps. What's the modification? Is Bo here? Bo needs to, and Bo knows. Nils Rollback, what's going on, brother? Nice to see you. My rig is pretty extensive. Oh, hold on. My Lonnie taught me, spent a month rebuilding it. It's still using VH4s, Marshall JMP1s, which are modded. Okay. They go into angle power amps. Everything is MIDI controlled with a loop station. Interesting. That's a cool sounding rig. So he's essentially going in stereo, or maybe he's doing it. I'm not sure what he's doing. Maybe, but that sounds like a fun fucking rig. If I've ever seen one. I'm betting he's using channel 3. Bet you anything. I've been as a destroyer too. It's got the ugly middle pickup in it though. Can't stand a tri pickup, a tri humbucker guitar. Puke. I'm ridiculous. Anyways, how are you guys doing? What's going on? Ton Guitarra. How's it going? I'm with a scarf. It's incredible how cold it is there. What is the temperature there, Ton Guitarra? Because I feel like maybe it's you get cold at a different temperature that I get cold at. So I'd like to know what temperature makes you cold, because I'll bet you the temperature that makes me feel hot would also make you laugh. Because right now it's like 20, it might feel like 30 plus degrees. And I know people that think that feels like that's just a warm day where they live. It's not even hot. And that to me sounds like hell on earth. I could never live anywhere where it was 30 degrees every day, ever again. I lived in Montreal, and from, I'm telling you, from June to the end of August, maybe even all halfway through September, that place is a sweltering heat factory. Nils, what's going on? Yes, these are sweet and they're super affordable. Yes, they are. And the necks they feel just like RG necks too. I really enjoyed that guitar. I bought one. I put a dimebucker in it, left the neck pickup stock, because at that point in time I didn't fucking use neck pickups ever, and when I did, it was just for the odd bit of clean tone. So that guitar was awesome. But then I came into some more money. I bought some nicer guitars, and it sort of just started sitting. And like I said, I had a friend that was crashing on our couch for a while. He had started a band. He was using this fucking Squier Strat with single coils, trying to do this band with some friends, and they were playing in our basement, and our basement was like sort of a communal jam space for some people, and for the roommates that lived in the house. And since he was living at our house on the couch at the time, it's a fun little story. Since he was living on our couch at the time, he was jamming in our basement with we hooked him up with a couple of guys, but he had one friend that he kind of brought with him. They made an actually decent little band. How he came to stay at our house, he was once upon a time lived in our city. His parents moved away. He moved back because he hated the new place they lived. So while he got on his feet, we were staying with us. So anyways, long story long, one day I changed the strings, brought it to a friend of mine to make sure. There was one fret that was kind of hinky because it had fallen. I didn't really know how to do fretwork at the time. He did a little bit of fretwork on it. It was totally fine. And then literally it was just like, it was like almost like a cheesy, I wish there was like an Instagram back in those days, because literally mid jam, we all got together and I just took it out of the case. And in between songs, I said, hey, there's definitely something wrong with your guitar. Can I have a kind of look at it? I put the new one on the strap, handed him the new one, and the dude looked like he was going to cry. And just the band went on to play a handful of shows, and they were fun. But it just made me feel great to know that even to this day, I don't know if he still has a band, but he still plays guitar on Facebook from time to time. It's just records covers and stuff. So it's definitely one of those things where I was like, shit, he's still using that thing. Full of stickers now too, though, like literally covered in stickers from one end to the other. Hello, how you feeling? Hot in here? What? Ah. Yeah, buddy. 7 degrees Celsius and you're freezing? Okay. We definitely live in different worlds, my friend. If it was 7 degrees overnight and it was 7 degrees tomorrow, yeah, I'd be freezing. I'd be freezing because it would be a huge temperature difference. But like, as far as the cold goes here, we get as cold as about... the coldest I've ever experienced was minus 62. I've been in a place where it got to minus 70, but I have felt as cold as minus 62 Celsius. But typically here every winter, it gets about as cold as minus 40. We'll get at least a week or two of minus 40 stuff. And then in the summertime, it gets as hot as plus, like today is about plus 30, plus, it gets as hot as plus, it'll touch 40 here. Once every few years, it'll touch 40. But generally, we don't see stuff that's warmer than plus 35 is still very excessive here. Typically, it'll sit around plus 25 on the hot days. What systems are we talking about? We're talking about Celsius. It's not that cold everywhere in Canada. I just live up north. There are many places in Canada where it barely snows, and they don't even get they don't even get ice. Like they won't get. It'll snow like in a very limited, tiny amount, and it'll just melt right away. Whereas here, shit gets real. We get on our lakes here, we get ice that's typically like 2 meters thick. It can get as thick as 2 meters, maybe longer, maybe thicker. Yeah, it really depends. But yeah, it's definitely a weird place to live. But you'll never hear me to complain, you guys. And you guys that have been watching me for a long time know that when it gets cold around here, I don't complain. I bundle up, I grab a cat, I grab my missus, we sit on the couch with a blanket, we turn on the heat a little bit. But in the summertime, when it gets this hot, you're going to hear me whine like a bitch because this weather is excessive. I'm not a tropical person. I no longer have an air conditioner because the air conditioner started spitting. There was a leak in the coil, and it was, again, those things are only good for about 5 years, the window sitters. And we used that thing for probably 7 or 8 years we got out of it. So, you know what? It served its purpose. Away she goes. I'm going to get another one at some point, but god damn it, today is hot. So I'm going to complain a little bit. Guys, I'm going to take my 2 or 3 minute break. We're going to come back, do a little bit more playing and then talking in the back end. We're going to talk about the various guitar tones on hard rock records that are really, really good. So in your opinion, what is the rock record that embodies the best hard rock? And I'm not saying, when I say rock, I don't mean AC/DC. I don't mean, all right now by, I don't mean all right by Free. I don't mean Judas Priest, old Judas Priest. I mean, when I say rock, I don't mean Tom Cochrane. I mean hard rock, like the stuff we've been talking about today. What is which album embodies great hard rock tone to you? I'd be interested. Is it Godsmack? Is it 3 Days Grace? Is it Hinder? Is it Alice in Chains? Because Alice in Chains is arguably, we are going to include them. And that is going to be my pick, is going to be probably going to be Alice in Chains, because if you listen, which we will listen when we get back, anybody that throws something out, we're going to listen to little excerpts and samples of what people are listening to if it's not an album I'm super familiar with. So tell me, in your opinion, what is your personal favorite when it comes to butt rock or hard rock, etc.? Alice in Chains, Dirt. Okay. All right, guys, I'll be right back. Thank you so much for being here. Enjoy some Rammstein.
Ein Zweibeiner Licht gerückt, zeig ich ihm, was man machen kann. Und fang dabei zu weinen an. Der Zweifuß stammelt ein Gebet aus Angst, weil es mir schlechter geht. Versucht sich tiefer noch zu bücken, Tränen laufen hoch den Rücken. Bück dich! Bück dich! Bück dich! Bück dich! Bück dich, befehl ich dir, wende dein Antlitz ab von mir. Dein Gesicht ist mir egal. Bück dich, noch einmal. Bück dich. Bück dich. Bück dich. Bück dich. Bück dich. Chaos ending, thanks on the streets, controlling police, leading the flames, raging from body guards, bloodshed starts, won't be alive. Chaos ending, I'm in siege, dawn of alarm, I'm sick of this, inside the state, what is created, no man's land, what is this shit? Refuse, resist, refuse, I
Sepp is definitely not Buttrock. I can't listen to this song and enjoy it the way I once could, because I had a roommate who had a band and they covered it probably I had to hear them cover it. I'm not even exaggerating this. This was like a band that they had just put together, another Jam Space story, but in doing so, they learned a bunch of covers just to get comfortable with each other, which I actually think is a great idea. If you're just joining a band, if you're just starting a band, by the way, here's my advice. I'm gonna go off though. This is good advice. I don't think it's not groundbreaking advice though, but if you're ever starting a band with a bunch of people, don't start by learning by trying to write originals. Don't do that. It puts a lot of pressure on a new relationship. My opinion is that if you're starting a new band and you're just trying to get it going and everything's going pretty good, my opinion, start with some covers. But don't just be like, oh, we're all going to choose our favorite songs ever and from about a billion different genres. You have to figure out what style are you going for. And then everyone in the band gets to pick 2 or 3 of their let's say 2. Not, if you have 5 members, that's like 10 songs. But say everyone gets to pick 1 or 2, and potentially more covers in that target style or genre that they really enjoy, and how they kind of things that inspire them to be part of that band. And then learn those covers together, play those covers together as written. Don't take any liberties, just as written. Just to get comfortable playing together. And trust me, you will create a foundation for your band. You will, absolutely. There's no way around it. You will absolutely create a creative baseline and a creative foundation for your band that will absolutely come in hugely handy when it comes to writing your own stuff. By the time you start writing your own stuff, then all of a sudden, magically, your band already has this mojo and this thing going, and you have a target, you have a goal. Everybody in the band has an idea of what they'd like this new band to sound like. They're writing riffs based on stuff that you guys like, and then all of a sudden you're putting things together. But if you try to start writing originals right off the hop, what happens is it can definitely put strain. It's like doing really, really serious couple things with somebody you just met. It puts a lot of strain on something that's brand new, and it puts a lot of pressure, and it could just so writing songs and trying to be creative together is a lot easier after you've established a baseline of what you want to be after and established some chemistry. I don't know, back to it. The song, when Refuse Resist, was covered so many times within earshot of me that it just sort of beat it to death. You know what I mean? It just beat it right into the ground for me to where now I hear it and I'm like, oh man, that song used to be so good. Anyways, 8 people in here. The coldest I've ever experienced is -10. Nice. It's going back here. I didn't install it yet, Ton. Sorry, I did download it, though. I forgot about that. Dang, that could have been helpful with Jambi here. But I am definitely going to use it. Promoting who? Hold on. Hold on. No clue what the mods and the diesel mods. JMP1 Voodoo Amps calls the platinum mod. Oh man, Bo just pops out. Say his name and he appears. I believe in Bo Hendry. Agent Victor, yes. -60. -65. I know of a place, I know of human beings that went to a place that I went to work, and they said when they were there, it was like, it was close to -7. It was close to -7. It was the high -60s, but I only experienced -62 in this place up north that I worked at. I was doing carpeting and some other improvements on a small hotel, the entire hotel, so we got to live in the hotel. But this weird thing is we had to finish one of the rooms enough to live in it. It was super weird, and it was super fucking cold. And the owner was just a complete pile of human shit. He's one of the worst human beings I've ever met. He would have had us working outside in a tank top in minus 70 or something. Horrible human being. Anyways, it was a weird job, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot. I learned that I would never, ever, ever want to go fucking back to that place. I'm not even going to say the place because I don't want to dox myself and et cetera in the process, but not that I give a fuck about telling. I mean, really, I'm not a big YouTuber or anything, so. I don't live in a big place, put it that way. How are you guys doing today? Hopefully well. I'm having a pretty fun day. The missus just got home. It is Friday. We do have plans to watch, or rather play some video games probably tonight. I've been watching Mobland on Paramount Plus. I don't know if you guys have seen Mobland yet. I don't know why it took me so long to get to, because Guy Ritchie is one of my favorite people ever. Yeah, and you're wondering why is he talking about now? Why is he talking about this? We tend to talk about off-topic shit all the time. What have you guys been watching? Liven up the conversation a little bit. Switch it up a little. What have you guys been watching lately? Do tell in the comments. You don't have to have a whole conversation about it, but just throw something at me. What have you guys been watching? We've been watching Untamed on Netflix with Eric Bana. Bana bread. It's a handsome salt and pepper gentleman right there. Eric Bana. That's a good show. It's a weird show. Anyways, we're watching that, and I've been watching Mobland with Pierce Brosnan and Tom Hardy. Man, it's fucking good. Pierce Brosnan. Never seen Pierce Brosnan in a heel role. We're going to call it heel villain, heel evil villain type role. I've never seen him. I've seen him as a hitman, but he was like good-hearted. He wasn't really brutal. But oh my God, he's a brutal dude in this show. If you ever wanted to see James Bond, the best James Bond, I don't care what anybody tells me, that was a human being that was genetically engineered and born for the purpose of playing James Bond. That is factual. When Pierce Brosnan was announced as James Bond, everybody on the planet, nobody rioted. Everybody went, yeah, because he was Remington Steele. It was basically James Bond in the minor leagues. He was already James Bond. Everybody just kind of went, yeah, I know. Like, really, like nobody even batted an eyelash. These days, the next James Bond, no matter who it is, has it been announced yet? Who's the next James Bond? I thought it was going to be the guy from Bullet Train. Anyways, whoever it is, people are going to find a reason to lose their fucking marbles about it for no reason other than it's a movie and I want it to be cast exactly the way I would like. Anyways, Pierce Brosnan, bad motherfucker in this Mobland show. Back to it. So we're talking about heavy rock today, Nickelback being the aforementioned band that we're talking about. You can't ignore the fact that Nickelback has huge tone. I'm so glad that Nail the Mix did Nail the Mix Nickelback. And everybody thought it was like a joke, but it wasn't April 1st. And everyone's like, because it was a joke for a long time. It's like, LOL, Nail the Mix Nickelback. Emoji. It's like it was a big joke because it's like, God forbid, Nail the Mix could do anything except for, modern rock, gent, and metalcore and that type of stuff, right? So they did an episode for Nickelback, and man, like I was a part of URM at that time. Like I'm not a part of it, but like I was a member, and I remember tinkering around with some of the stems from a few different Nail the Mixes. And I remember actually listening to or watching the majority of Nail the Mix. Can't remember the producer's name now, but man, like that, they know how to get a great guitar tone. That is applicable to various genres. So if you're out there and you're like, I don't like Nickelback, I don't give a shit. I hate this corporate rock crap. Man, you know what? You're not alone. I don't like most of it either. I make fun of a lot of it. It's pretty easy. I don't like Creed at all. And then you take Scott Stapp out of the mix, and I'm like, I like Creed. So it's like, if you want to listen to a better version of Creed, just listen to Alter Bridge, I guess. Because Mark Tremonti is fantastic. That guy is tone. So we could talk about Mark Tremonti's tone for years. That was Rectifier as well. He had a Rectifier, and he had a Fender Twin that for cleans the A-bead. And he had a fantastic sounding rig. Can't stand Scott Stapp, though. Can't stand him. Just trying to catch up here. You just picked up your first ever real Angle Savage, like an actual amp? The actual amp itself? Are you using it with a cabinet or like a torpedo? What are you doing? I'm getting D-Runk. Nice. This isn't my first time at the Amp Sim show. Definitely not. And I am substantially herbally enhanced at the moment. So it's because it's Friday. Although you'd be hard-pressed to find a stream that I'm not herbally enhanced for, because it just loosens me up enough to be able to do this shit without feeling like super self-conscious. They really need to do modern... Hexen? What do you mean? They need to do modern, heretic, and hexen? RPT, what do you mean? I'm looking through it to see where that came from. What do I start at? Ted Jensen. You're at Kyle Bull's house right now? You are not. Randy Staub. Now that dude knows how to make a fucking good sounding record. He's got a tune track pack that he had something to do with. It was the Rock Warehouse, and he also had something to do with the Bob Rock pack as well, because those two worked as a team for a very long period of time. Randy Staub is a genius. That dude made a lot of really, really, really good sounding albums with various producers, not just with Bob Rock. Man, that. So when I see something with like Randy Staub, I'm like, damn, like that guy. I don't have a lot. This is going to sound weird and old head or old world sounding, but I don't. When I see a producer's name on something as a signature product or, a course, if I know that producer has spent thousands of hours re-rigging and rewiring things and worked in big studios where, like Randy Staub has had hands on tape, hands on the entire universe. That he's had his hands on every piece of gear and worked with every band imaginable. So when he gets involved with a product, and it's not that often that Randy Staub gets involved with a product, I know it's going to sound good. I remember reading an interview where he's just like, I'm just not interested in doing anything that doesn't product that doesn't sound up to par of what I would put out on an album. And I'm just like, damn. And it's really that Rock Warehouse did turn out pretty good for one of their older expansions, like their older SDXs. The Rock Warehouse is still very much worth picking up. Anyways, I've got the MIDI, but I don't have the pack itself. Although I have seen it in action. I do have the Bob Rock expansion though. That thing is a beast. You know Kyle Bull personally? Really? That's pretty cool. Nice. Well, make sure you tell him what we do here and what you're doing with us. That's pretty cool, man. Nice to. I'm a big fan of his work, and the thing I love about Kyle Bull, and I think that we have in common, is that we're honest people that will give it to you straight, no matter fucking what. And no one is buying our opinion. No one is buying Kyle Bull's opinion. That's one thing I really like about. No one's giving that dude money and getting him to say that something that he thinks is shit is good. There's no universe where someone's gonna buy that dude's opinion to that level, and I love that. And just like me personally, no one could ever. I mean, I'm not rich. I'm not even a popular YouTuber. I've always had my principles in this industry, and it's one of the principles that I started along with Johan in the beginning was Honest Amp Sim Reviews, was to combat those pieces of content that you see that were bought. Paid positive content is what I call it, meaning someone pays you to like it, and if they don't like your piece of content, they are not paying you for it. So you have to be positive or they're not giving you money. That's the paid positive content. There's a lot out there. I'm not going to name drop specific YouTubers, but I'm sure you can all guess a few. And that's what I like. One thing I really enjoy about John Simons, Kyle Bull, a lot of different YouTubers and content creators that just will give it to you straight. This is either a piece of shit or this is something that that's worth your time. That's it. There's two categories. I wouldn't recommend it or I would recommend it. And if I would recommend it, I would use it personally. The end. All right, we're chilling. And we're hanging out with various amp. We're going to use amp box, I think, maybe a little bit right now. I am going to turn off the cabinet because we're just going to leave this running because I feel like it. And I don't feel like using their cab right now. Let's see what this sounds like just out of the box. This, man, was the second time we've heard this song, but we're going to change playlists now. We're going to go back to our regular playlist because I think I'm probably out of copyrights. Getting just absolutely hammered with copyrights at this point. Speaking of AFI, this is AFI song, a really old one before they got really poppy. Superb, called Fall Children. If you haven't heard it, you should. Have you seen it? Have you seen what Davey Havoc's new look? The new video. He looks like Charles Manson. I'm not gonna. He's got a handlebar mustache and a big and scraggly big brown hair. It looks fantastic. I'm not gonna lie to you. That looks awesome. As soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, fucking yes, man. He looks like he's straight out of the 70s in one of those rock bands where it was like 7 people in the band and they could all actually play all of their instruments at like an A+ level and 5 of them can sing. You know what I mean? All those 70s bands like Kansas and Boston and those bands. He looks like he's straight out of one of those bands that looks like they're a bunch of drunk, unemployed uncles hanging out in the backyard. And I love that. Cheers to AFI, one of the very first bands I ever saw live. One of the first big shows, I should say, that I ever saw. 1994 was the year, and they were on tour with Rancid, replacing a band called Seaweed. And I had never heard of them at that point. Nobody even knew they were going to play. It wasn't the internet, was not a thing. Nobody knew ahead of time that this band had replaced Seaweed. There were a bunch of people that were kind of bummed out, but then AFI came on and absolutely crushed it in their Reservoir Dogs stage. So just a little more story time with Papa Tyler. Another band that used rectifiers, though, for a long period of time, if I'm not mistaken. I have that Anthrax on CD. Do you know? Kyle his channel is pretty decently big. I don't know how many subs he's got now, but I'm not even saying he's like massive. He's not massive, but he's got a following. And the thing is, though, he's got a following of people that respect him because they know he's giving it to them straight. And that's what I like that. Rather than some YouTubers that would just choose to go after other ways of marketing themselves. And hey, to each their own. So this is, in fact, a very nice sounding rectifier. All right, let's hit that. There we go. Why am I out of tune every time I try to play that riff and that riff only? Everything else like tune, fine, tune. Oh, no, 3 Days Grace riff? You want to play that? No. We heard you talking shit. In fact, I wasn't talking shit, though. First off, this AFI album is top tier right here. I agree. Really? It was my first show. It was one of my first big shows. Rancid and AFI was one of my first big shows where I was completely shocked at the amount of human beings that were placed inside of the venue that I was used to going to for, shows that were like 50, 60 to 100 people. The venue, let me to be explained, is probably a 270 to 320 cap venue, somewhere in that ballpark. And there was probably more like 500 people in the building that evening. And there was perspiration dripping off of the ceiling It was gross. I think it was about 30. No, it felt like it was about 35 to 50 degrees in that building. Although I believe the show is in November. I've just hit the hunger. Yeah, we're listening to country right now. It just happened. I don't know. We're listening to the Tasu playlist now. But kind of what we're after today, guys, as I was saying, is, you know, you're going to find a lot of the similarities when it comes to certain genres, when it comes to gear. It's impossible to miss. Like, anytime you find a specific genre, there's a very good chance that a good number of the bands inside that genre have some sort of gear that's going to be, you know, in common. It's something that's going to be in that Venn diagram where all the same bands, all the, you know, maybe like if there's 10 bands in this genre that are kind of like flagship bands, 6 or 7 of them are probably going to be using something in common when it comes to their you know, their amp or pickups or pedals or something, cabinet, whatever it is. There's going to be some sort of similarity that's going to cross over. And when it comes to hard rock, it's impossible not to notice EMG. It's impossible not to notice Mesa Boogie. I guess Fishman has found its way in as well. So it's impossible not to, you know, make sure that, you know, Fishman has been a big factor. As far as other amps go, which other amps can we even talk about? Pardon me. Which other amps can we even talk about when it comes to modern hard rock, or American hard rock as it's known to some? What sort of, like, what can we say? I mean, Godsmack, rectifiers. 3 Days Grace, half rectifiers. Nickelback, rectifiers. You think about just basically a Theory of a Dead Man, rectifiers. Hinder, rectifiers. You know, like, I can just keep saying rectifier in a different way, and all these bands are rectifier bands. Also, they didn't update the Rectone amp box with their new engine capture. I didn't do the update yet. I should. Unless wait, also played on a Balaguer at Kyle Bowles, and now I really want one. Nice. Yeah, Balaguer's a brand that I'm going to be straight with you guys on this. I didn't think Balaguer was going to make it. Like my Farmer Tan, you can tell I play a lot of disc golf with a t-shirt on because I don't want to, like, I used to play with a tank top a lot, and I started getting absolutely cooked out there. And now I wear I'm sure I'm careful to wear at very least a t-shirt and then sunscreen the shit out of whatever is exposed, because I started getting these. Yeah, I didn't want to put myself in that situation. So here we are. We got the nice two-tone. Oh, look at this. If I go like this, match it with the mic, it's like Neapolitan ice cream. I'm going to be straight. I didn't think Balaguer was going to make it. I saw all these models coming out, and I was like, geez, this company's moving fast. And I thought it was going to be, I'm not going to use a company to... Where are we back? Guys, are we back? Well, I'm going to see if we're back here. I don't know if we got back. I don't know if my stream is frozen here or what happened. I'm back. Hey, we're back. Good. Did it go out for you guys at all? Wow, it is fucking warm in this house. Yeah, that's one thing about AFI I've also heard, is that they do not care. They absolutely do not care. They make it to their shows. I've seen them a bunch of times here in my city, and I've seen them at a bunch of festivals, and I've seen them open for... saw them open for Offspring and L7 once upon a time, way back. We went to Minnesota, and saw them open for, and saw that transpire. No, wait, no, that was in Montreal. That's a dirty lie. Nope, dirty lie. I saw the Offspring I saw in Minneapolis. No, I saw Offspring with AFI and L7 in Montreal, though, at Spectrum. No, Spectrum? Spectrum. I met, it was actually insane, because the day I saw The day I saw, I've told this story before, the day I saw AFI with Offspring and L7, I met Scott Ian just standing on the street in front of a sandwich shop. I got his autograph. I'll actually have to dig it up and I'll show you to you guys. It was on the back of a notebook that I was intending on. I was interviewing some of the Jade from AFI at the show for a local little fanzine. I happened to have this with me, and he actually asked me to, like, if I wanted to sit for a second. It was very interesting. I'll tell the story again another time. But then the very next day, saw Anthrax play in the middle of a park for free, for nothing, not for $1. You just walk into a very large park and got to watch a free metal show that featured Anthrax at the top of the bill. It was fucking madness. Just sorry, guys, I'm not meaning to put my... I can't see any info, but I assume that Alien Ant Farm Anthology was Recto as well. I don't know. The one time I saw Alien Ant Farm, they were... I was supposed to see Alien Ant Farm, I should say. They actually got kicked off the tour that I was watching them on. I was watching them on because they were on. It was Somerset, Wisconsin. I saw Warped Tour, and that particular show happened to be Warped Tour. It was crossing over with the Blink 182 tour that was happening at the same time, which was Blink 182, Newfound Glory, Alien Ant Farm, some other stuff. So it was crossed over. And it was huge. It was insanely huge. It was just massive. It was crazy. It was on my birthday. It was just, truthfully, I think it was 2001. I think. Anyways, Alien Ant Farm got thrown off the bill for apparently being not very nice to some people. So it was what it was. My brother got to hang out with Travis Barker for a while, which was also just ridiculous. Anyways, guys, so we've been talking today about hard rock. It's Friday. We're having a good time. We're checking out some various rectifier plugins, but I can't even really think of any other amps apart from the Diesel VH4. But that's more of a newer inclusion to a lot of rigs. I think I didn't start seeing the Diesel stuff in rigs until like 2000. 2006 when I really started to see them more over here, I think, because the first band I actually saw with my eyes that had one was Against Me, and that would have been like 2003. They had or 2003 or 2005. They came here twice. I can't remember which time it was, but it was the first band I ever saw, and I remember thinking to myself, "Whoa, interesting." And then Cancer Bats, of course, I believe the dude was using a Herbert, if I'm not mistaken. And I remember seeing his and looking at the grill. The first thing you notice with a Diesel is the grill. Is the really interesting grill with the D's, all like laser cut D's. And you're like, wow, that is striking. It just really catches you for a second. John 5 in the early 2000s. What do I consider? Alien Ant Farm hard rock? No, absolutely not. I consider Alien Ant Farm pop rock. Pop rock for sure. Like pop funky rock with a little bit of edge of... They fit really well at that time on punk rock tours and pop punk tours. They were fun. They had that fun kind of vibe to them. So they fit really well on those tours, although they weren't really pop punk. They were more of like a pop rock. It was... Someone once... Somebody once described it, and I can't remember exactly the terminology. I'm going to butcher it. They said that Alien Ant Farm was like the Kmart version. I can't remember. Oh, damn it. It was like Alien Ant Farm was like a Kmart vanilla version of Incubus. Was what I always like, or Incubus for kids or something like that. I can't remember exactly what this person said, but it was something that was really funny at the time. It's been years though. It was a really good analogy of like them being very similar to Incubus, but like more like vanilla, no edge whatsoever on that band. So no, not hard rock. You think John 5 is hard rock? That depends on who John 5 is playing with. John 5 is a hired gun. John 5 can be whatever John 5 wants. John 5 can be a shredder. John 5 can be a hard rock player with White Zombie. That's another band that's worth mentioning is White Zombie, Rob Zombie. Also fucking huge in the States. really never really caught fire in Canada though. As far as like, he doesn't tour a lot up here. I don't think. He plays like some of the big cities and stuff, but he never, I don't know that he's got the following that he does in the States. Like there's not a lot of radio play for Rob Zombie and White Zombie, whereas I know in the States that he gets a shit ton on hard rock radio stations. Problem is, we don't really have those up here. We have rock stations, and they're mostly taken up by stuff from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Little, maybe you'll get a sprinkle of hard rock on like Saturday night for like the Off Limits show at 12 o'clock midnight. You know, you'll get like an hour of barely hard rock, you know? John 5 solo stuff's all over the map. He's like Buckethead. He can be whatever he wants to be. It's all, I mean, he's with Motley Crue right now as a hired gun. He played with Katie Lang. He played country. He's been a solo artist. Like he's done solos and lead work for pop artists. And he almost toured with, like, I'm not sure who exactly it was, if it was Christina Aguilera or if it was one of the, when all of a sudden all the pop princesses started having like the Shredder Wars. Now Rihanna's got Nuno Betancourt and Pink's got Justin Derrico, and it seems like a lot of the pop princesses, they have a Shredder in their live band for when they feel like ripping something out. Apparently John 5 was approached for something that never materialized, but a really big pop princess that would have made him a fortune and while just being able to just kind of chill on the side and not really have to be too engaged. But he opted to just, I think at the time he opted to stick with Rob Zombie instead. I can't remember exactly what the story was, but I would love to know who that actually was. That'd be kind of fun. But he can play anywhere with anybody. If it pays the bills, man, like you think of how much those session musicians make for those tours. A+ accommodations, A+ transportation, A+ food, catering, A+ rider. You ask for, you get what you want. They buy you whatever gear you need or rent you whatever gear you need, and you just play the songs while putting your occasional little, the band leader will say, all right, in this part in the live, you're going to do a little widdly diddly diddly diddly. And then in the live, so the live version will feature some little bit of shreddies here and there, just like Justin Derrico, who is, by the way, a fucking absolute guitar god that you've probably never heard of because he plays with Pink. And that's pretty much all he does, whereas Nuno had fame prior to playing with Rihanna. Anyways, guys, I'm going to get going. It is about that time. I'm going to go and get out of these lights. We've had a fun time today. I thought we were going to do it a bit longer, but honestly, it is sweltering in here, and I'd like to go to cooler pastures. Can't run my fans during live streams, otherwise this guy picks it up, and you hear this constant, and it's not a lot of fun. So I'm going to turn some fans on, get some food, relax with the missus, and I will see you guys. Gosh, this weekend's very busy. As mentioned, you guys were working on a disc golf course, so I don't know when we're going to see you guys next. Could be tomorrow, could be Sunday, could be next week. Unsure, but when I see you, I will see you. Thanks so much for being here. Remember to hit like and subscribe. We do appreciate that every once in a while. And I'll see you guys soon. I will. My challenge for you guys this time around is just to go and download something from Vitar. Vitar amps. Vadim Taranov. Vitar, VTAR. It's Google. It's Windows only, by the way. So if you're Mac, so there's not much that can happen. Although you could check out the Ugertone stuff if you really want to check some of his stuff out. Although that is also kind of blended with, I think, some NAM tricks of some sort. Don't know. So you be the judge. All right. So my suggestion, start with Jambi here because it is an unsung hero, hidden gem. And I will see you guys next time. Cheers, everybody.